Right, so hey guys, Antonio here, and once again welcome to ReviewTube. Now, if you're looking to buy a smartphone in 2017, it's a fairly safe thing to say that it's a crowded place. Now, to me, one smartphone stood out, and that was the OnePlus 3T. Now, I know there's a lot of reviews out there already, but my views differ somewhat from what I've seen, so I'm going to do mine right now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope that I help you make a purchase decision. So with all that said, let's start the review. Now, just a quick thing before I start the video: if you want to support the channel and buy a cool t-shirt, you can do it on Teespring down below. I'll leave a link, or on the card in the upper right corner. Thank you very much. Let's start. So starting from the build, all of the reviews that I've seen revolved around the fact that the smartphone industry right now is very boring because everybody's doing the unibody metal design, but let me tell you, it's not boring. This phone is one of the sexiest phones I've ever seen. I used to have a HTC One M7, which was matte black and drop dead gorgeous, but when I unboxed this phone, honestly I got goosebumps all over my body. It's beautiful. The body of glass and aluminum just flows beautifully together, and you're gonna see more details of it in the next few seconds. So let's go over the build. Going around the phone, on the right hand side we can find the power button and the SIM slot. Now, this phone supports dual SIMs but not the memory SD card. I'm going to come back to it in a little while, so let's just continue. On the top there's nothing. On the left hand side we can find the alert slider button, which has three options: vibrate, which is normal silent option; priority, which lets you filter through notifications, so you can choose either to receive or not; the social media notifications, to filter through calls, so to only receive a third call from someone, so notifying you that's an emergency or something; and the normal all notification settings, as well as the volume buttons. Now, the overall placement of the buttons is fairly good. You do sometimes risk of pressing either the volume or the power button together, because they're placed opposite of each other like this, but 85% of the time that doesn't happen, and as soon as you get used to the placement of the buttons and you stop pressing both of them together. Now, to finish up the tour, we come to the bottom of the phone, where we can find a 3.5mm audio jack, a USB 2 Type-C port, and a speaker. So 3.5mm audio jack on the bottom. Thank God it's there. I honestly don't know why anybody ever put it on the top. USB Type-C, it's a shame that it's a USB 2.0, so the speeds are going to be a bit slower, but it's a USB Type-C, so you're somewhat future-proof. The combination of the two is really good, because if you look at Apple, for example, they immediately took away the audio jack and left the lighting port. To me, this is the perfect combination, because if USB Type-C headphones start coming out, you still have the options to use your old headphones and the new headphones. So it's really a transition period, so this phone covers both. So speaking of the speaker, it's gotten some good and bad reviews all over the internet. Honestly, I think it's fairly good. So it's one of the loudest that I've used, and compared to my HTC M7, it sounds similar, if not better. So the only thing that somewhat bothers me is that the basses are not that pronounced, but that's to be expected with a speaker of this size and having only one speaker, not stereo speakers. And regarding that, a lot of people complain that you have to have your hand in a cup if you want to listen to music or watch videos or anything. And to me, that wasn't a big of a problem, because if you hold the phone like this, your hand naturally forms sort of a cup that aims the audio towards you, so it's not that bad to listen to, and you don't really need to cup it like they show on the internet. It's not that bad, really. So overall, a good speaker, not the best, but I'm not disappointed by it, not at all. So moving on to the front of the phone, on the top we can find the front-facing camera. Now, it's a 16 megapixel f2.0 1080p selfie camera. It's good, it's nothing special. I didn't expect it to be anything special. It has a beauty thing option that's going to make your skin smoother and make you look prettier. That's basically your only chance of looking pretty. The angle, it's wide, but it's not extremely wide, which is good, so it's not going to distort your face and photos overall. It's overall a good camera. Some people are complaining that it's not very high quality, but let's be honest, what do you use your front camera the most for? Drunk selfies and normal selfies. Is it going to look good in good lighting conditions, aka outside? Yes. Isn't it going to be the best camera for drunk selfies? You're drunk, nobody cares, just take the selfie and move on with your life. So, going to the bottom of the phone is where we can find one of the best features of this phone, and that's the fingerprint sensor. Regarding the placement of the fingerprint sensor, I honestly prefer it on the front. I know that, for example, NKBHD said that he would prefer it on the back, so that when he pulls the phone out of his pocket, it's already unlocked. But the fact is that this is one of the fastest fingerprint sensors out there. It registers your fingerprint in less than 0.2 seconds, and I know that's a number that they published on their website, but I think it's fairly close to the real number. It's faster than the iPhone 7, it's more precise than the iPhone 7. I got it to work in about 95% of the cases, and it works with like my side of the finger, the top of the finger, not even like the middle of the finger that would have the most detail, the most fingerprint to register. And overall, it's a very, very, very fast way of unlocking your phone. Honestly, I haven't used the power button more than 5 times in the 2 months that I've been using the phone. It's fast, it's reliable, and from what I've seen on the internet, it's faster than a lot of phones that I haven't used, like the Pixel XL. And I'm going to make a lot of references to that phone because it has similar, if not worse, specs than this phone, and it costs literally double as much as this phone. So overall, a very good and reliable fingerprint reader. So now finally we move on to the screen. It's a 5.5 inch 1080p AMOLED display with a pixel density of 401 ppi. It's protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 4, and it's not curved, but the edges have a slight edge. I wouldn't say curve, but an edge to it that helps the screen flow nicely into the overall shape of the phone. Let me say that I bought this phone thinking that I was buying into a compromise. It's a budget phone, you're not getting the best things that are available on the market, you're paying less than you're paying for a premium flagship phone, but it's not like that. For example, it has the pixel density less than my 4 years old HTC One M7, but the screen is so much nicer, it's so much better. It has the same resolution, but the colors are better, the screen is sharper, the colors are more vivid, more vibrant. Brightness, for example, it goes from pitch black dark, that's good for reading in like your bed at night or something like that, to blinding white. Honestly, like if you shine this thing towards the sun, you would outshine the sun, if that's a thing really. Basically, it has all the feature of an AMOLED screen that you would think of. Vivid colors, the blacks are really black, like black, and the whites are really white. It's one of the best screens I've seen, honestly. Compared to the iPhone 7, for example, Apple's current flagship phone, it's better, and it costs twice as less than that phone. So why even think about it? Get this phone. So overall, I was able to use the screen in really bright or really dark situations, such as in direct sunlight or in my bed at night, which is the main feature of a great screen that's able to handle both extremities of situations, and that's going to be able to display nice colors, realistic colors, and nice sharp images. So speaking of the image quality, let's move on to the main back camera. But before we go into the specifics, let me talk about something that I've seen amongst the other reviewers on YouTube. For example, a lot of reviewers had a problem with the low light performance of this phone, and they're marketing it as the main bad feature about the camera of this phone, and I don't see a problem with that. For example, every photo that they've taken, it's taken at night at a fairly high ISO settings, so obviously it's going to be grainy. But that's using the automatic photo feature on this phone, so you just open up the camera and take the photo. Just as it would be on my DSLR, which costs more than this phone, and it's made just for taking photos. If you put it in auto, it's going to take a fairly bad photo. It's not going to prioritize noise over shutter speed and things like that. So in that sense, even my DSLR is a bad low light camera. But just as my DSLR, the phone has a manual camera mode, which lets you change ISO, shutter speed, and focus distance, which is amazing. So for example, if you buy a mini tripod, just as this one, which was $2 on eBay. You can put the phone in manual mode, put the shutter speed at, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds, depending on the settings, put the ISO at 100, so the picture is not going to be as grainy, and voila, you're going to have a beautiful photo. So if you educate yourself, and by that I mean 15 minutes of research on the internet, you will take great low light photos, and that's it. So just as the front-facing camera, it's a 16 megapixel f2.0 that has optical image stabilization and 4K video capabilities. What does all of that mean? f2.0. So that's the aperture of the lens. What that basically defines is the amount of light that comes onto the sensor of the camera. More light means that you can use faster shutter speeds, not so high ISO, so the higher the ISO, the more grainy the photo is, and if you're taking portraits, for example, it means that the background is going to be blurrier. So overall, the things that contribute to image quality and how easy it is to take good photos, which simplifies things for whenever you just need to whip out your phone and take a photo of something. And 4K, obviously, it supports 4K video, which is the next big thing. If you want, you can shoot at it. For me, 1080p is more than good enough, and you save some memory space as well. So now let's dive into the internals and the performance of this phone. So the phone is currently running Oxygen OS 4.0.3, which is based on Android 7.0 Nougat. The 7.1 is at this moment still in beta. With that said, you would get all of the benefits of Nougat, like the split screen, the better performance, the new settings, and etc. I'm not going to dive into the Android review as much because there are a lot of videos already on YouTube that do a much better job than I'm going to do. And with that comes 6GB or DDR4 RAM, quad-core Snapdragon 821, which is the same one that's in the Google Pixel XL but slightly overclocked, and either 64 or 128 GB of internal storage. Now the phone doesn't have an SD card slot, but honestly I don't see the need for that unless you're taking a billion photos a day or recording a lot in 4K. The 128 version is going to be good enough for you. And the thing is, with the memory, they've adopted a new UFS 2.0 technology, which basically it's a higher data transfer technology that allows you to faster access and write storage on your phone. And all of that combined, all of the RAM, the CPU, the fast storage, the Android 7.0 Nougat really show in the performance of this phone. Everything from taking photos, opening apps, switching through apps, everything is as fast as hell. Honestly, it's really, really fast. The camera takes no time to open the phone, reading your fingerprint takes no time to read it, switching through apps, switching through games, using the dual screen. Both apps that you're currently using are smooth, don't lag. You can game on this phone, edit videos, photos, whatever you want. Like obviously gaming, editing and everything like that is going to drain your battery, but the fact that the CPU and the GPU and the storage of this phone are able to handle it and handle it really well without any hiccups and lag really shows what the performance capabilities of this phone are. And if you can edit all of that, then you know how fast the everyday usage of just camera and internet and everything is going to be. So one last thing before we conclude this video, and that's obviously another big thing for this phone, the battery. The phone has one of the best and the biggest batteries on the market right now, and that's the 3400 mAh battery that supports dash charging. So I'm going to have another video explaining quick charge and dash charge in more detail, but overall they moved some of the components from the phone into the charger. The charger is a bit larger but not that big, honestly. So instead of the phone heating up when it's being charged, the charger heats up. And that's a pretty big thing, because the heat is one of the worst enemies of a phone's battery and degrades phone's battery life really significantly. Battery charges roughly from 0 to 100% in less than 2 hours. And the battery life at that is really good. And I usually get around 1 day and 20 hours. So basically almost 2 days of phone usage and 5.5 hours of on-screen time. In the whole 2 months that I've been using this phone, I'm only managed to drain it once in less than 24 hours, I'd say. And that was when I had to do my exam and I was studying on my phone constantly downloading data over 4G. That was the studying material, and I managed to drain it like from 7 a.m. till I'd say 10 p.m. So conclusion time. Like I've said in the beginning of this video, I bought this phone thinking of it as a compromise, in a way. So you see it marketed as a budget phone, as not the flagship one, not the premium one. But honestly, I haven't seen any of those features, because it offers high-end specs, the same ones as the Pixel XL, aside from the 1440p screen, at a much lower price. Like I've said, I haven't seen any of those compromises that a budget phone would bring. It's, I'd say, 10 times better than my old phone. That just shows how much the technology has advanced and how much better features you can get for less price. So yeah, what I want you to take from this video is that don't be fooled by the budget or compromise videos and the marketing of this phone. This thing is a flagship phone. I honestly, aside from maybe waterproofing the phone, I don't see need for anything better than this. I don't see need for a better screen. It's perfect, it's bright, it's dark, the colors are vivid, it's sharp. I don't see the need for a better camera. It's fast, it has manual mode, it has everything you need. Selfie camera, it takes selfies. What more do you need in life? Storage, it's fast. Battery, it's huge in the last 2 days. So far, it's been great, it's been amazing. The performance, Android 7.0, in the combination with 6 GB of RAM and a great CPU, it just flows through everything, it just runs through everything like it's nothing. It's fast, it's beautiful, it's well built, and it has everything a premium flagship phone would need at a price that's half of the flagship phones that are on the market right now. So if you're thinking of buying this phone, stop thinking and buy this phone. Take it from my experience. Whenever I bought a phone in the past, the excitement about the phone would slowly degrade as I used the phone. Not with this one. I bought it and I'm more excited about it right now than I was when I thought about buying it. I just got goosebumps. That's how good this phone is. If you're thinking about it, stop thinking, go buy it. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope if you're thinking about getting this phone that you get it, and trust me, you're going to love it. You're going to enjoy it and you're going to be like, haha, everybody that got another phone, I got this one and it's better. If you want to support the channel, you can follow me on my social media. If you want, you can buy a shirt, that greatly helps, and it's up on Teespring, so all of the shipping and all of the production is done by them and not by me. I would probably fuck up a shirt if I made one and probably mess up the shipping, so don't worry about that and get the shirt if you want it. That's it. I'm going to see you in my next video. If you want, subscribe. I've got a lot of new content coming, and